Alrighty, we're live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show Aftershow. As we like always, wait for YouTube to catch up. Here it comes. That's not very loud. Let's see. Test. Testing 1, 2. Yeah, don't know how that happens. From data, constant complaint by me. Kick that up a little bit. There we go. Clicked up the gain. Click the gain filter up. But yeah, so I can do it. I did the stream yesterday and it was fine. And then today it's not as loud and nothing has changed. I guess rebooted the computer. What up, Aslan? How's life and stuff? Hope everything is well. Hope the livestock is doing well. Alrighty. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And for my financial content, just scroll past the Oak Island playlist and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist. Today is number 533 of those. Answering your financial questions. There are 138 in that particular playlist, and there's 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in the music playlist. One of them is not Living La Vida Broca, but perhaps could be one day. It actually wouldn't surprise me if somebody else already did one. I'll check the YouTube and see if somebody already did one. Market report, and of course not scrolled all the way up, very unprofesh. Let's refresh, make sure we're all good. Yeah, and so NASDAQ up the most, doubling it what the S&P 500 did, 1.52. And we're gonna assume, well, let's check the rest of the planet first. Mostly up in Europe, mostly down in Asia. The US dollar is up against the euro, up against the Japanese yen, up against the British pound low, up against the Canadian dollar, we're not sorry. And of course up against the Australian dollarmite. That's a NAR for today, Australians. So it's a clean sweep for the US dollar and a good market day on top of that. So you cannot ask for more than that. You can ask, but you're not going to get it. See what the futures look like. So bright, got to wear shades. So that looks good for tomorrow. That's in the green today. Apple and Amazon reported, and let's see what those did. I already pulled those up, I believe. Apple up 0.39% today during the day, and then after hours, for some reason it doesn't say. Maybe I have to redo that. Oh, okay. So I went down. Let's see what the report is. Apple earnings. U.S. court rule. Oh, how about if we reload? There we are, and 2.82 down. Let's see what those earnings are about. Further weakness in China, and the stock is down. Okay. Says it will appeal. I don't see the earnings. Service revenue misses, but profit is still good. But the traders jump on any negative news at all and overreact. Is that what the deal is? Top expectations thanks to services growth. So, I mean, what do you want? What do you want? I did not want to click that particular article. Did not want to do that. All right. So we can all perform at 90%, but that's not enough. Okay. Good job, Tim Cook. So they didn't like that for some reason, and the service revenue misses. I thought it said service revenue was fine. So sometimes they don't, the articles don't match each other. So, but apparently traders did not like something. And the other one today was Amazon, excuse me. And that was up 3.13% during the day. And then also down in the after hours trading. So let's see. They announced a $4 billion expansion to rural delivery because we want you to, just because it's not a city there, just because it's wide open spaces doesn't mean you don't need stuff from Amazon. Looking for, I did hit reload, didn't I? Yeah, I did, because it's showing the after hours trading. So 1% down at the moment, little topsy-turvy there. It jumped up for a second right after the closing bell, and then you see what it did there. And the gray is all the after hours stuff. And so, yeah, definitely talk about the president calling the guy instead of giving the here we go, the Hill. Thank you, Hill, for giving me the results. Solid first quarter earnings growth, but outlook is tempered by tariffs. Okay, and that's fine. And you can certainly overreact to the tariff thing if you would like. But it's Amazon. I think they're going to be all right. True, true, true. Let's see. Do we have anything else we wanted to talk about? The most followed single stocks on the Google. What do we got? Google, Alphabet, rather, parent company, 1.57% up. Microsoft up 7.63%. Very nice. They reported yesterday and had good earnings and a good outlook. And as we saw, 3.13% up today and down 1% in the after hours trading. And Meta up 4.23% today, and then down, like, what was it, 3% or something like that in the after hours trading, and a low number for Tesla to be up or down. Either way, let's check the headlines really quick. Oh, I've neglected the chat. Now, I moved it recently. I put it right there so I can see it all the time, but I was just ignoring it. Sorry about that, Rita. Somehow the channel popped up in our YouTube recommendation, so here you are. Yeah, Rita, I don't really like talk about this much on the Ramsey show. Like, if somebody asks me about it, I'll answer. And every so often I slip something in there about that I have a show, but I don't like to put in there all the time. Like, oh, I have a show. My show's starting next. All that kind of thing. But yeah, so yeah, I think a lot of people would enjoy it there, but I just, it's not, I don't know. Feel kind of weird, like, doing that every single time, like every single day or whatever, or even every single week. But that's just me. So, but I'm glad you found your way here, and that does happen, and more people have been finding it since the Ramsey show is not on YouTube for the last hour. So people that are used to it being on in the last hour, search for Ramsey show now, and since I guess I'm live, that comes up sometimes. So that gets me a little bit of extra views. So let's see. You already missed me singing, I think, Rita. Did a little Livin' La Vida Broca. Amazon beats quarter one earnings, but light quarter two guidance sends stock sliding. Yeah, so if it's light, but it's still a profit, what, I mean, I don't know what the people want to, traders are just nutty. And also they're thinking at a from a day trader perspective. As far as, well, let's make money on it right now instead of just putting it in and letting it ride for 30 years and just retire on it. That's not their dealio. Cole's fired, brand new CEO for unethical behavior. Hey, maybe do a background check first, is what I would suggest. Oh, and they were up 7.61 today percent. Dubai conference of what? Trump's conflicts take to center stage. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be in all, his name is going to be in all the articles just so people clickety click. How to save time and money at the airport. All right. Don't take 8,000 bags would be one thing. Arrive early and often. NVIDIA says Anthropic is telling tall tales in its defense of US AI chip restrictions on China. All right. McDonald's loses US diners as they grapple with uncertainty. Yeah, I think the CEO of Chipotle complained about that as well. And I mean, that's like, if there's a money problem, eating out is one of the, even just fast food is something that is not necessary and you should cut out. So good on the average US person. Or at least a good segment of them are not eating out as much. Data center boom, world's largest market, is not slowing down. Dominion Energy says, well, shocker. Shocker about that. Shocker that people love the technology. That's why NASDAQ is going to continue to beat the S&P 500's ass. Shark Ninja recalls 1.8 million foodie multifunction pressure cookers due to burn hazard. Yup. Definitely do more testing than not when you have something very hot that you're selling. Even if it's coffee, because you might get sued. I did have an article. What kind of article did I have? Oh, yeah, I saw this stuff earlier. This is from seekingalpha.com, I believe. And so the market was not up as much as it ended, but it was still up early in the day. And this was a eerie calm for markets as U.S. recession odds hit 67%. And you do this, and they got me, of course, to click on it and be mad about it. So I guess they know what they're doing. But you just get these stories, and I'm sure there's a prediction model that has done that, has decided that, but it doesn't know the future. It doesn't know for sure if a recession will happen or not, and it doesn't have to regardless, because this president can do like the last administration did and just change the definition of recession, and then we won't be in one anymore. How about that? Just like last time, we can do the same thing. S&P 500 surged 13% in a matter of days despite political prediction markets now indicating a nearly 70% chance of a U.S. recession by 2025. Okay, first of all, it's 25 now. So what the heck does that mean? That's dumb. It's 2025 now. So how about you say, by the end of the year or something like that? Political prediction markets like Polymarket often provide more accurate forecasts than the news often. Oh, but not always, right? Suggesting rising recession odds should be taken fairly seriously. And that's fine, but as always, you don't want to overreact to anything. Economic indicators are already going haywire, but we won't get much hard data on the economy in quarter two for weeks at the earliest, so you're guessing. So you don't know, is what you're saying. That's the short answer to that. Given the sophistication and track records of prediction market participants and early signs of economic indicators, the current stock rally appears to be a selling opportunity. So again, you don't know. So nutty, nutty, nutty. And of course, part of the, like, right here, they're trying to make money there. Create a free account and you can read the market moving headlines right there. So I'm not going to do that, of course, but yeah, just nutty. I mean, that's how they get you. They got me to click it, and so I thought I would talk about it a bit, turn it into content, make dementia setting in right now. What does that make? That's when you make something good out of bad. What's that saying? I can't remember what the saying is. But it's like you make it's not like rainbows out of a storm. That's not it. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Let me know what that saying is. Where are we? Oh, we are mission astronomer 42. How much should I spend on a car? And I talked about this just a second yesterday, and then gave the short answer, which is as little as possible. How about that? Some guy on yesterday's show, one of the questions was about a used car, and he said $10,000. Why wouldn't you buy one cheaper? Because obviously, person not in a good place already. I think it's talking about financing it too, so doubly stupid. Let's see. Background. I'm a 28-year-old single guy, no debt. About 6 months ago, I was laid off from my job in the States. I'm Canadian. Canadian and are working in the state. Made the decision to sell everything, including my car, and move back home with my parents while I planned next steps and ensured that I was financially set, and I was unsure how long it would take. Okay? And how'd that work out? After selling everything, I had about $32K saved up. Well, I just got a new job. Great. With a pay raise normally, up to $160,000 working for NorCal. And that means I need to buy another car. How much should I allocate for this purchase? As little as you need to have a reliable car. I would ideally like to leave enough for a 6-month emergency fund. Well, then do that. I don't know if you can do that with $32K though. Depends on what your expenses are. I would just need a reliable commuter first, paid in cash. Yeah, everything else is second. Yeah. Yep. And so keep the price down for that. And you might not be able to have enough for a 6-month emergency fund. In addition to that, depends on how fast you need the car. But at the same time, there's a side of me that wants to reasonably splurge being a car guy. So that's a no. That's a no. You don't get to be a car guy when if you don't even have step 3 done yet. You don't get to be a car guy. Sorry. When I say splurge, by the way, I mean I want a nicer used Toyota or Honda, like higher trim level with leather seats, push button start. Not something like a Mercedes or BMW or something. Okay, so you remember that time just 2 seconds ago where you typed in everything else is secondary? How about we not worry about the higher trim level with leather seats and push button start? How about you not worry about that, because those are secondary. So, and you just you want to keep it down. Like you said, you do not have a full emergency fund yet, and that trumps buying a nicer car 100%. Let's see. So, but there's a maximum that you should spend, but not even that if you don't have the full emergency fund. And the maximum, of course, is everything you have that has wheels and motors should equal up no more than 50% of what you make in a year. Apprehensive beat 451. How to stop 401k payment without using the match. I did read this yesterday, and it's basically my boy wants to put the money in to the 401k as a contribution and get the match, and then he wants to take it out. So let's see. The nerd in me stayed up at night, struggling to discontinue my 401k contributions. Right, because that's what he's supposed to do. Because then baby step 2. So understands it, but fighting tooth and nail to still get the match. Anyway, let's see. My plan enables after tax, right? After tax contributions are eligible for a match. There's other crap in there as well, but basically the story is, let's see, do I have that handy? Yeah, I did look this up yesterday. I did remember, so dementia is not taking over quite yet. But so the problem is, I figured there would be some reason why you can't do that. Why you can't like cheat the system like that. And it depends on your employers if they have a vesting period. Like they say you have to own this. You have to have that in the 401k plan for X amount of months or years even sometimes. And so, and before that, you can't take it out. Otherwise, you don't get that match. That match goes away too. So that's what you would have to look in for that. Now you can take out the contributions without taxes or a penalty. It's only on the gains that there would be taxes and a penalty on if you withdraw from 401k before you are retirement age. So, but that's the dealio on that. The vesting is the thing that I was thinking about that may cause a problem. And so that's why I don't think you can do that. I think they're smarter than you are. The nerd in you didn't think about that, though. Did it? No, it didn't. Let's see. Flashy C 1045. Aslan says he has a Roth 401k. You can remove the money you put in since you already paid the taxes on the money. The exception is the vesting. Yep. I got there eventually, Aslan. You were probably typing it. As soon as you heard me say it, I'm ahead of you, of course, by 7 seconds or something like that. So good job, Aslan. How to spend tax refund. You should apply it to whatever baby step you're on. And of course, the idea is to not get a large tax refund because you can do better if you get that money throughout the year. If you get more money in your paychecks throughout the year, that is better than you giving the government an interest-free loan on that money. And then they give it all back to you in April or after you file or whatever. There are no penalties on withdrawing contributions, Rita. But the problem would be there wouldn't be any need to do that because he'd be losing the contribution and also the match, which he's trying to get the match for free without actually contributing it. So how to spend it? Yeah, let's see. I'm following the Ramsey plan and I'm on baby step 2. Well, the answer would be to put it all on debt then, right? Wouldn't it? This was explaining to somebody today about the baby steps, and it was, oh no, it was because Dave got a call about somebody not adjusting once getting to baby step 4. They're still being gazelle intense about stuff, and you need to chill a little bit once you get on step 4. You still need to be intentional. You still need to do steps 4, 5, and 6 if all those apply. But you don't need to be as intense for that. So you need to be able to do that shift. And somebody didn't do that shift. And so at that point, I mean, that's where you can plan vacations and so forth, and you could, put a tax refund to that or any amount of extra money that comes in. But on baby step two, guess what? You're not going on vacation. You're not spending it on any dumb crap. You're spending it on all your stupid debt. Let's see. Loan A is for people love to tell you all of their stuff. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what any of this is and what the interest is. That doesn't affect it. I don't care that the 3,300 doesn't have any interest on it. That's what you pay out first. That's the smallest. It's smallest to largest. But yeah, so there's, and that's basically what I was telling the person, not that one, that one. There we are. Because you don't get the full story on each baby step, because it doesn't say step 4 and here's where you can chill a little bit. You don't have to be as intense. It doesn't say that on there. Let's see what it does say though. See, they do have a little bit extra on each one, as you can see. Yeah, no, see, it doesn't say this is where you can start to chill. Let's see if you, after baby step 3, if it says this is when you can start to chill after you get this fully funded emergency fund happening there. No, and see, it doesn't say that as well. So you don't understand everything about it because there's no possible way that they could make a list that is, easily readable, where they tell you, like, for example, they would, tell you, because some people ask this all the time. So I saved up the $1,000. So should I use that to pay off debt? And that's a no. That's your start emergency fund. It doesn't say save up $1,000 and then put it on debt. But people misinterpret them incorrectly all the time. So you do have to engage, at least watch the show. You don't have to spend any money. You can get Total Money Makeover from the library, but even Total Money Makeover probably doesn't say, protect you against all the ways that people misinterpret the baby steps. And so you do have to kind of plug in, and the more you can watch or listen to the Ramsey show, the better. Do that. And there's tons of articles, like in the form of blog posts and such on RamseySolutions.com. And you can type in whatever the subject is that you want to know about. And it may tell you extra on there. And of course, you can always ask in the Ramsey Show chat, because a bunch of us would be more than happy to tell you if you had a specific question about a baby step. But what's their deal? My initial plan was to, Loan A gets all of my extra money. That's doing it correctly. Good job. Minimum payments on everything else. My initial plan was to pay off Loan A, and once that is done, I would refinance Loan B. There's no refinancing. Debt does not solve debt. There's no refinancing. You just take the hit on the interest and let that be a lesson to you to not take out any more dumbass debt. How about that? No, I don't care about going down the toilet. I don't care. The advice is for you not to refinance, not to consolidate, not to do any of that dumb crap, because that doesn't fix your dumb behavior. I feel like refinancing is the best option. Interest is paid off is so soul crushing. Hey, that's why you shouldn't have gone into debt in the first place, right? My tax refund is large enough, and again, that's a mistake. You can do better with your money throughout the year, so adjust your withholding. Completely pay off Loan A. However, I wonder if my idea is better than the guy who has been doing this for 30 years and has millions of documented success stories following the baby steps. I wonder if my little idea is better. So I know what the Ramsey plan says, and that's where the Senate should end. You don't have to put in your thoughts on it. You can just do the Ramsey plan, or you can do whatever you want to. but your way is not proven. So good luck on that, doing it your way if you would like to. Fully support you doing it your way, but then I don't see the logic in bothering to type it here if you want to do it a different way. Wanting somebody to agree with you, that happens a lot. And sometimes people are just mad that Dave's advice isn't what they want to do. Let's see, those are extra questions in case we run out. I don't think we'll run out today since we're on 4 days ago and now 3 days ago. But yeah, so you're right to put it to debt, but you put it to the smallest debt. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. I feel like, for me, feelings don't matter. Doesn't change the advice. Foxhound 34, baby steps 4 through 6 flare. This person does like to talk about their flare. Boom, boom, boom. How many times has your mortgage been sold? Been in my house 12 years next month, and will be on my 5th mortgage company starting May 1st. The new company must look at us as a safe bet, as we only owe $2,700 in interest left. Well, that's not how it works. And also, this is one of the things that you just don't need to worry about. There's way, way more important things to worry about than this. This is something you can't control. You don't have a vote in whether that happens. Let's see, I believe in the 8 years, something like that, of home ownership my ex-wife and I had, it was, I think it was sold 3 times. And guess what? They don't ask you ahead of time. And so that is going to happen. So you just let that go. You just change where you're paying it to, who you're paying it to. So that's all. So that's nothing to be concerned about, or even put this question in. I wouldn't think. But people don't have anything better to do, I guess. So, but that is gonna happen. Mortgages will be sold all the time. So you should expect that, not just live with it after it happens, but you should expect it to happen. Anonymous, that's a lot of numbers. Financial advice help. Okay. And again, people saying, I know. And so if you know there's something about the advice, then your little idea doesn't matter. Do it if you want to, but that's not going to change the advice. You don't need people to agree with you. I know people on here know basically what Dave would say about my situation, and so do you. So quit being dumb. So I figured you guys could help me out, since calling in the show is an option for me, a 17-year-old high school student from Georgia, and about to apply to college to get a business degree. Luckily, I have a good GPA, 4.2 weighted and 3.9 unweighted. All right. And a good ACT, 31. Is that good? Maybe they changed it, just like they changed the definition of recession, so we wouldn't be in one. Maybe they changed the grading scale of that, since I took it a long time ago. Which means I'm eligible for the Zell Miller Scholarship. Great. Which would pay for all of my tuition and fees for my public Georgia University. Great. My parents have said they will pay for my college except for my tuition and fees, which I have to cover myself. The issue is I hate UGA and Georgia Tech. I would be miserable if I went to school there. Hey, if it's free, shut up with your dumb crap. Now, why do you hate it? Because you don't like the sports teams? That's dumb. The schools I'm very interested are Virginia Tech, Texas A&M, and the state up north for some reason. But I would have to pay out of state. And so that's dumb as crap to pay more just because I don't like that school. Quit whining. And first thing, I mean, I know you're 17, so there's going to be some emo and some whining happening there, but stop. You got to stop that eventually. You got to stop that dumb little kid stuff eventually. And my vote is right now. Well, because you're making a decision, it's an adult decision. And you'll be 18 soon, and then that's adult age. So time to be an adult. It's called hashtag adulting. So yeah, there's no out of state. I also want to pursue a master's degree after my bachelor's. Hey, got a great idea. How about we get through the bachelor's first? How about we do that? Can we do that first? Because guess what? And this is what everybody that takes out student loans, everybody that goes to college thinks they're going to graduate, and they don't. I think it's about a 50% dropout rate. And so that's not a thing. Want to pursue a master's, and you're 17. You have no idea. Any number of things could change while you're in college. Let's see. Also in business, does anyone have advice on what I should do? I would go to the in-state school and quit being a dumb little kid. Time to start growing up. And also, I know people on here know basically what Dave would say, right? And also be smarter. You're going to go to college. So logically, if you know what the Dave advice is already and you want something different, why would you tag it with the flair of what would Dave do? That was dumb as crap, kid. So time to quit being dumb. Try to start adulting, and I don't like those college. I mean, and we did not get a reason for that, probably because it's a dumbass reason. Just a guess. Not sure. But yeah, in-state is always the advice. Rich Girl Online, baby step 2 flare. Where Dave Ramsey's baby steps really came from. This is probably a link to Rachel's video, because she just did one on where the baby steps came from. And I didn't watch it, so I don't know exactly what's in there. But what Dave has said before about that is he had the things to do. He had all these, basically, or almost all of these, but he did not have an ordered list in a priority order. And people kept asking him, well, which one do I do first? And so that's where he came up with that. And so what's in the video, I don't know if there's anything extra to that. Yeah, you can't take out new gains. That would just be on contribution amounts. Yeah, would have to pay taxes and penalties on withdrawing earnings. Simpy with a C 101. Paid off the house today and debt free, 38 years old, 388K total debt paid off, I believe, and that's great. 38 and 39 years old, 388K in total debt paid. Great. 13 years ago, my wife and I looked at the interest we were paying on our student loans, and it made us sick. Yep. And when you should think about that, when it should make you sick, is when you are signing for them to take them out. Because in this case, it worked out for these people. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe they managed to pay that off despite not graduating, but theoretically it would have worked out for them. But it might not, though. Let's see, at the time it was $82,000 in student loan and $46,000 in car loans previously on their subreddit. Oh yeah, this is reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey, the Dave Ramsey subreddit, not run by Ramsey Solutions, run by fans. Those other questions that I have as backup, those are from the Facebook group that is run by Ramsey Solutions, which is called that always reminds me to take a drink. The Ohio State University is called the Ramsey Baby Steps Community. And if it's called anything else other than that, it's still a Ramsey group, but it's not run by Ramsey Solutions. Previously, I hadn't really heard of Dave and his teaching, but it just started on an Audible free trial and had 2 free credits. One of them I used on the Total Money Makeover. Great. After listening to that book, we finally had a plan. We tackled the smallest debts first. Well, you should have saved up $1,000. Start an emergency fund first. Hopefully you did that. And also, if you had more savings than $1,000, you would liquidate that savings and put that to debt. Let's see. Every final payoff was a sweet small victory, and that's the idea. That's why the lower ones are first, so you get those quick wins early, and that helps people stay on the plan more so than if they paid, say, for example, the highest interest, which often are the highest amounts. And so you could be paying on that for years and not pay it off. These and Dave's podcast were motivation to keep going for the long haul. Later that year, we bought a house for $265,000, and today we use the balance in our escrow to finish off that mortgage. Great. Debt-free flair. That's the best flair to put, for sure. Aslan bounced. Thanks for dropping by, Aslan. Much appreciated. Second generation Panda. My situation. All right. And you get this. Happens all the time. Maybe I'm judging this person, but just because people always think their little, and I do say little to minimize it, their little situation changes the baby steps. It doesn't. Your numbers is what determines the baby steps. And it's always do the baby steps. You may just not have to do steps 1, 2, or 3 because you already have them done, for example. Let's see. Pretty new, the baby steps, 3/4 of the way through number 2. All right. Paid off my Lexus Sonata. And why do we have 2 cars? Maybe, I don't know. And $10K in credit card debt. If you owed more than $10K on the cars, you should not have paid them off first. You're doing it wrong. All I have is $20K on a student loan before baby step 3. The thing is that the student loans and my mortgage are both at 4% interest. That's a no. Student loan is baby step 2. Paying off mortgage early is baby step 6. So again, your little situation and what you feel like for you doesn't change the baby steps. I fully support you. If you decide to do your own little plan, you can certainly do that. But I would just do that rather than ask strangers on the internet what they think about it. And some of these people are just want somebody to agree with them so they feel better about it because they know darn well they shouldn't be doing it. They should be doing it the proven way, which is the baby steps. The Ramsey advice is the best thing to do. 200K a year, great. I feel like, again, Trey was talking about this in the Ramsey Show chat today. And that's so many people today, and it's not just the younger people. You might want to try to push it on the younger people, but even people my age, they're like, and when I make fun of it, I'm doing like the freaking Kardashians and other reality shows like that, where they film like what happens in quote unquote real life. And then later they sit down and talk about it, a talking head segment. Like, they also did that on The Office where they would just sit down and talk about something. And so I make that fun of that when I say, because they would always say, I feel like for me, about any situation that is happening there. And so, again, this is money. This is numbers involved. So your feelings don't matter. What should matter more than your feelings would be the 30 plus years that Mr. Ramsey has had in the business, and also the millions of documented success stories following his advice, rather than what you feel like for you. I feel like perhaps instead of worrying about attacking the student debt, well, you don't worry about it, you just do it. First, I should put the $1,500 a month I've snowballed so far to attack the mortgage. No, you're dumb. Don't do that. I still have 450K on that, and feel like too much feeling like. Go on facts, not your feelings. Building equity in that would give me more peace of mind. Hey man, knock yourself out. Do it. I don't have to know about it. You don't have to tell the internet about it. You don't have to try to get people to agree with you or anything like that. So, but that's a no. You know darn well that's not the advice. And so knock yourself out and do it. But why? My industry is facing a lot of difficulties. Well, then you get another job then if you don't like that one. Just, all this other stuff there. Once they say the dumb crap they want to do differently than the Ramsey advice, then they start doing a little thing George likes to call justification station, where my industry is facing, also the justification was I feel like for me that would be the best way to go. Knock yourself out and do that. Why do you need other people to agree with you about it? Why do you need to tell anybody? If you think that's absolutely the best thing to do, it's your life and your money. I fully support you doing dumb crap with your own money and life. Knock yourself out. But it's not going to change. It's not going to change the Ramsey advice. He's still right. You're still wrong. Because your way is unproven. Savings preference 546. Going through divorce, almost $100,000 in debt. First time living on my own, 2 kids, 50% custody. I work as much as I can when they are with their father. He wants me to pay half the mortgage on top of my own bills for 6 months. You're still living together? Soon-to-be ex-spouse changed the locks and will not respond to the realtor about it, listing the house for sale. Need some encouragement. You need a lawyer is what you need. You need a lawyer on that. Now, the problem would be if your name is not on the mortgage. That might be an issue. But, again, you need a lawyer, not anything else at this point. Need some encouragement. Yeah, you don't need encouragement. You need a lawyer. I've never gotten this far in debt before, but divorce is expensive. Baby step 1. Yeah, so you need a lawyer for that, about the house, and you would not pay that. Because, like you said, he should be listing it for sale, and he wants you to pay off the mortgage on top of your own bills so that he has less to pay for it. And then he, I guess, wants to keep it then. He can't keep it. If it's got both of your names on it, he can't keep it. That's going to have to be sold. And so you need to ask your lawyer about that. You said divorce is expensive, so that must mean you have a really good one then. So you need to talk to the lawyer about that, not, again, Reddit. I mean, the internet's great as a sounding board, even for finding help, finding answers to questions for sure. But if you're already paying a lawyer, how about you make them worth their money by you asking them, what do I do about this? Because this is not the first time that they've had an uncooperative spouse, soon to be ex-spouse. This is not the first time. They already know what to do about that. And so, and I would not get my legal advice from the Dave Ramsey subreddit, for sure. Competitive bed, 8407. Dilemma on baby step 2. I wonder if it is a dilemma, or if it's going to be more crap that somebody feels like. Let's see. I'm 12 years from retirement, although I'm considering to retire early about 7 years from now. On baby step 2, that doesn't sound wise. If my passive income from investing can cover my expenses. All right. If you have enough in retirement, you can retire anytime you want. It's not advised to when it just barely would cover your expenses. That's now. There's a thing called inflation that keeps happening. And so your expenses could be higher in just a very short time. Your expenses could be higher. So that's why you don't want to stop right when it's what your exact expenses are now. Let's say I want to follow 7 baby steps. Well, then you do that. Then you don't. There's no buts. There's no big buts, and you cannot lie. I am indecisive whether to use my emergency fund investment to clear my 2 car loans of $59K. Okay, so yeah, okay, so you're doing it wrong. And this, of course, if you just look at the list, and let's look at the day version of them, they do change some of the words slightly on here. A couple of them are better phrased on here, actually, in my opinion. But emergency fund investment. So should you be investing? Step 2 is here. Step 4 is right there, investing. So that's a no while you're doing step 2. So you're doing it wrong. See, the problem with people that want to do multiple steps all at the same time, that makes your entire journey longer to get to step 7. So you do it this way, and that's step 1, 2, and 3 in order, but one at a time without even thinking about higher steps. There's no step 4, 5, and 6. No, 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 no. If you don't have a house and you're in step 1, 2, and 3, you're not ready to buy a house. Apologies. So, unprofesh. What else did I want to say about the baby steps with this question? Yeah, so you would not be doing that. And I feel like for me that this person has more than $1,000 emergency fund. You're doing it wrong. And how this happens to people, I don't know how they can be confused by it, but they apparently are. And how this can happen is that people look at this list and they say, oh, well, I already have $10,000 in emergency fund, so I'm good with step 1. And so step 2, okay, I do have debt, so I'll start paying that off. They look at step 3, and it says 3 to 6 months of expenses of fully funded emergency fund, and they say, oh, I actually have more than that already, so I'm good on that one. Yeah, you don't do that one yet. You have to pay off everything in step 2 first. So you're doing it wrong. They say, I'm already investing, so I'm good on that one. That's not how the baby steps work. You are on the lowest baby step that applies, and so that's step 2, and that means you're not having extra savings. So you know how much emergency fund you have? You have $1,000 until every single bit of non-mortgage debt is paid off. So you're doing it wrong. And of course, no investing until after the full emergency fund is done, which also means that all the non-mortgage debt is paid off as well. So you're doing it wrong. Understanding it wrong. Let's see. I want to follow 7 baby steps. Well, follow them instead of being dumb and trying to be indecisive or having your own ideas about it, because your ideas are never better. And decided whether to use my emergency fund investment to clear. You shouldn't be investing at all. So, I mean, the problem with taking it out, you don't tap it. If it's an actual retirement account, you don't do that. If it's in just a regular brokerage account, yes, you would liquidate that to clear out debt. But if it's an IRA or 401k, you do not tap that to pay off debt. Emergency fund is 5 months, so you're doing it wrong. That's a no. Probably somebody in here, 31 comments, told them you're doing it wrong, and maybe nicer stated than that. Retirement 440k, yeah, that you stop immediately. Invest. Oh, an investment 285k. So yeah, all that goes bye-bye. That regular investment that is not in a retirement account, that does go bye-bye and applies to your debt. So theoretically, if you liquidate that, you would have all the debt paid off. It looks like, I think 59K. You could also sell one of your dumb cars. Why do you need 2 cars? Even if you do, maybe you sell them and you buy beaters instead. Let's see. But how do you, where, why, how can you read this, steps 1, 2, and 3, and think, oh, well, I'm supposed to do all these at the same time. I'm supposed to not have all my debt paid off before I have a 5-month emergency fund. I don't know how people can look at this list and think that. By default, it's you do this step and then you don't do anything else until you finish this step and then check. And then, only then, do you move to the next step. That would be like the default, and that's not the case. Step 1, 2, and 3 are like that, but then 4, 5, and 6 are all 3 at the same time, if they're applicable. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, with that investment, yes. So you would take every cent of that 285K. If that's not in a retirement account, which it doesn't sound like it is, then you would take that and that would apply that to your baby steps, which theoretically would pay off all of your debt, non-mortgage debt, and you could add 1 more month to the full emergency fund. And then, so if you do that, then you don't even have to stop investing, because then you would be on step 4, and then anything left out of that 285 you would apply to kid college if that's applicable. 12 years from retirement might not be applicable at this point, but you do have a mortgage, and so you would put the extra on the mortgage rather than have extra investing. You don't have extra investing, you just do 15% of gross income while you still have a mortgage. When you get done with the mortgage, pay that off, and you're on baby step 7, you can invest whatever you want. You can do savings, whatever you want. You can do anything except go into a lower baby step. Married with 5 children. Eldest just began college. Wife is housewife. Please advise. Quit doing it wrong. Do it correctly. And hopefully somebody told them, instead of doing what you're doing, maybe you do the baby steps. If you want to follow them, maybe you follow them instead of doing that, and you misinterpreted them. So you're doing it wrong. And of course, let's do where we get that from. The original. Happen to have it right here handy. Here we go.
You're doing it wrong.
It's from a movie called Mr. Mom. And then, maybe 6 months ago or so, maybe not quite 6 months ago, I was shocked. I was watching the Ramsey show, and George said,
"You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong."
He only said it once, but I thought I would loop it into 3, and so that was
You're doing
cool.
It wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Because I've been saying that you're doing it wrong because of Mr. Mom. Ever since I started doing the Ramsey show 500 episodes ago, 500 plus. Yeah. Back to the questions. So I think we are good on that one. Yeah. So you would follow the baby steps, not do the dumb crap that you're doing. So, may have misinterpreted the baby steps. And the problem is that people don't like being in step 2 or saying that they're in step 2. But here is admitting it's step 2. So if you're in step 2, why do you have a 5-month emergency fund? Why are you still investing? And why are you talking about like putting extra on the house? Why? Why? You're not there yet. You're in step 2. And so, yes, you would liquidate all of that extra saving, any extra savings you would do. And see, but I'm even skipping because the first thing that you would do is not have a larger than a 1K emergency fund. That's the first thing you would do. But I'm giving you a break and just let you keep that in there, because if you liquidate this 285K investment, then you can get back to where you would be on step 3, and you would have that taken care of, and then you can keep investing, because then you'd be on step 4, 5, and 6 immediately by liquidating that. And so, see, you just got to remember and understand simple concepts like Dave is the no debt guy, and that means no debt leverage. And so if you have debt and you're investing 285K above what you're investing for retirement, you're doing it wrong. Let's see what's up for tomorrow's show. Let's see, advice needed on what? PayPal working capital takes 20% everything my little business make. Yeah, working capital, you don't use business, so you're doing it wrong. No financing, no using PayPal working capital for business. Yeah, and that's 20%. Yeah, you do your little business, and you called it little business, and it is the little business. So you do your little business at the speed of cash. You do not do any working capital from frickin' PayPal. I have a PayPal account myself, but I don't borrow any money from them because I'm not dumb. Quit being dumb. And so we'll get more into that tomorrow. And the 401k advice. What's the problem here? 10% of salary to 401k, fully vested, even if I put in 0. Okay, great. That being said, should I focus on maxing out my Roth IRA first and then add to my 401k? Yes. Roth is priority over the 401k. Always. That's just very simple. It's match because that's 100% rate of return. And then Roth because the tax-free gains are always better than the tax-free contributions, because if you have any appreciable amount of time in the market, your gains are going to be way up, and your contributions are very small. So overall, you'll be paying way less in taxes if you pay the taxes on just the contributions and then don't have to. So yeah, you would max out any Roth accounts first. You can also see if your employer has a Roth 401k, and give you some of the fun parts of that. Or at least one of them, is that you would still have to have your 401k open, because they cannot put a match or free gift, as it is. They can't put that in a Roth 401k. They can only put that in the traditional 401k. So government not trying to give you everything tax free. Come on. Be real. Let's be real, shall we? So those two will be up first tomorrow. And what's more, I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you kind of have money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, as I did not mean to scroll down on that. There we go. That's better. If you, or is it, what did I say? Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. Oh yeah, if you are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a consultation, a free consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That link's in the ticker below, also in the video description, as all these plugs are. You can email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com, if you have financial questions about coaching or about anything else on my YouTube channel. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. Or a Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, that would be this stream, the Ramsey Show Aftershow show. And until further notice, that is Monday through Fridays, starting at 5:27 p.m. Eastern Time. When the Ramsey Show is done with YouTube, that's when I start. Alrighty. See you, Rita. Thanks for dropping by. I'm glad YouTube recommended me to you. That's fun to have the algorithm work in your favor sometimes. That's tough for a small channel, but that is pretty excellent. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you so much if you've already done those things. Much appreciated. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.